Alright everybody, we are back with First Bite. Alright. You cannot be fucking serious.
Ugh.
Laurel doesn't seem to mind the request and sits astride him like they're riding a pony. With the huff, Valeria follows suit. It's an interesting sort of vampire pyramid. Now what?
Watch.
He begins doing push-ups with one finger. What the fuck is going on? What is happening to me? One second I'm practically begging for my life, and the next they're trying to impress me with their talents. I don't know what to think as my mind boomerangs from terrified to fascinated to enthralled. This certainly isn't what I had in mind all the times I've dreamt about watching three hot vampires ride each other. Pause. I'd be lying if I said this was exactly what I expected.
I'm sorry to tell you that everything you've learned from your insipid modern media is likely wrong. Laughable at best.
Everything? Laurel and Valeria dismount, and Ilias huffs as he stands to join them. Yeah, everything. I have so many questions. Ask them about holy water, ask them about crosses, ask them about garlic. We're gonna ask them about crosses. Surely crosses still harm you.
Besides being in bad taste.
I quite like mine, fuck you very much.
See, if Valeria here can wear one of gold, then they clearly don't do us much harm. Valeria drags a fingertip over her sternum, a sly smile on her face. I can't help but let my eyes wander down to where the necklace is nestled between her. Wow. Okay, but what about coffins?
Do I look like I sleep in a coffin to you?
Kind of.
Who do you think I am? Fucking Nosferatu?
Who's that? I don't know who that is. Now hold on a minute. Are you saying Nosferatu is real?
In a way, I suppose.
Dracula is very real. Nosferatu was based on him, so...
You know, I actually knew Dracula personally.
Of course you did.
Ugh.
Ilias groans loudly, but Valeria continues, raising her voice slightly as if to drown out his obvious sorrow. Vampires might not age, but the way that Laurel and Ilias seem to wither at the prospect of listening to her tell another story seems to snap a few centuries off their infinite lifespan.
Oh, it was all very exciting at first, the whole King of Darkness thing. But then you come to realize that he's far too invested in the wrong kind of impaling. Ah, such a waste.
Wait, you had sex with Dracula?
Oh, well, of course I fucked him. I'm not stupid. Oh, he's 6'7" and built like a god. I'm just saying, it's unfortunate that he showed more interest in skewering his enemies than me. And I'm not going to beg any man, Dracula or not, to pay me attention.
I mean, you know, I don't blame her. She shouldn't have to beg for it. You shouldn't have to beg for attention from a lover. Alright, my mind is officially blown. Okay, now I have to ask, what exactly is different between vampire sex and human sex?
Oh, you poor creature. You have no idea. It's better than your inadequate human mind could ever possibly imagine.
We can physically see lust spiraling off of bodies like smoky tendrils can taste the pheromones that linger on the tip of gasping tongues.
We can smell every bead of sweat and oh my god, and cum in a plethora of aromas. Sweet, salty, and inviting.
It rules!
My heart starts racing, and then... Hang on. Why the fuck are we still talking to our dinner? Dinner?
Yes, that would be you. Sans a good garnish.
I am known to be pretty tasty.
Ugh. My urge to kill it is dissipating. This human has no sense of self-preservation.
Ugh.
It's no fun if you're not scared. It really has been too long since I had a good, hot, fresh meal. As I stare into 3 sets of wide scarlet eyes, I feel like I'm standing on the precipice of something. Precipice? I don't know. Something terrifying and life-ruining. But my heart is racing like I just won the fucking lottery. I think back to my dream. Was it a premonition? Was the universe predicting my untimely death at the hands of these three monsters? You know what we can make this mortal's blood taste better? A
Want to
performance.
play with her. Make it last.
They step forward again, just on the edge of too close, and their hungry gaze roams my body like they're sizing me up for feasting. The eagerness inside me awakens, stirring curiously, and it takes every ounce of every ounce of my remaining willpower to not tip my throat and surrender.
Fuck this. I want to kill him right now. And I call dibs.
In an instant, Ilias is racing towards me, his outstretched arms grab my shoulders, and we topple over. As I hit the floor for a second this evening, I feel a very real sense of deja vu wash over me. He licks his lips before baring his cruel fangs.
Yes. Wait.
Valeria bends over and leans closer, her long, silky hair falling in my face. She traces the curve of my cheek with her fingertip, trailing down over my
Tell
jaw.
me your name.
Noria Ara.
Well, now, Laurel here seems to have taken a liking to you. So that means you have one final chance to plead your case. Good luck. And don't fuck it up.
Part 2. Taste. Okay. Watch us fuck it up. I mean, I will. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Ha. This isn't exactly what I had in mind when I left my house earlier this evening on the lookout for an adventure, though it might be a situation that has played out in more than a few of my wicked fantasies. I have a terrible feeling I won't be getting the usual happy ending I imagine, though. No, this definitely doesn't feel like a running off into the sunset with 3 super ripped, super hot vampires with a gentle breeze blowing through my hair deal. Maybe they'll prop me up on the sofa when they're done draining me dry and dress my corpse with a fashionable pair of sunglasses. If I'm lucky. Why? What the fuck? What was that? Fucking, I don't know what that was. They certainly seem like my type. Like the type. Focus, Nori. Ilias, who still pinned me to the floor, is staring at me, a frown pinching his brow. I wonder if maybe he can hear some of the weird shit currently swirling around in my brain. Valeria is still hovering close enough that I can smell her sweet perfume grows more menacing by the second. And Laurel? Quiet, contemplative, terrifying Laurel is wearing a smirk that would kill you from 100 yards away. They're leaning against the wall, watching the whole thing go down from a safe distance. It could be worse. Maybe. If they want me to tell them why they shouldn't just kill me here and now, I'd better put my back into it. Better put your neck into it. As a writer, I'm notoriously good at bullshitting. Or, as a ghosting user, Monster Fucker 69420 commented, presenting a fantasy that has people desperate for more. I need to figure out how to convince them to not rip my throat and suck my life away. And if I fail, honestly, it wouldn't be that bad either. I'd go out in service of something I love. And then I have a light bulb. Should I save right here? I'm going to save right here. Just so... yeah, anyways. And then I have a light bulb moment. A fucking terrible, ill-advised, monumentally stupid light bulb moment. Wait. Elias and Valeria pull back quickly as if struck, their heads tipping to the side in the same way a dog would if you shook a treat box. Laurel just huffs a laugh, but it doesn't look like they plan on stopping me from further pleading my case. I have to wonder if these three ever manage to have a fresh meal. I want to be like you. If you kill me, people will find... we're gonna say I want to be like you. I have a proposition for you. Say I do end up with all the bargaining chips. Bargaining, right? Is that bargaining? What exactly do I want? I'm a paranormal writer and I'm just content to leave with only the memory of this insane night trying to do it justice with my writing? Or do I want something more? A souvenir, a trinket maybe? Or, we're waiting. Fuck it. These are vampires. Clearly immortality must be on the table here. And take a deep breath. What would I have to do to convince you to make me like you? To turn me into a vampire? Ilias bursts into laughter immediately, which is really great for my ego, if not expected actually. But tear when I tear my eyes from his doubled over hulking form and look at Valeria and Loyal, they seem to be intrigued. That's hilarious, a really good one.
A really
Oh.
good one. I forgot humans could be so funny.
Talk.
I mean, I'd be stupid not to ask, right? I've literally dreamed of having an opportunity like this my whole life. Can you blame me for taking the risk? You're gonna kill me regardless, I think. Valeria shrugs and looks at Laurel.
The human isn't wrong.
Ilias snaps his head from side to side, quickly looking between his two comrades like they just grew horns.
Wait, are you actually pausing right now? Why aren't we chowing down?
Ugh.
Shush, Ili.
So if you really want this, convince us.
My mouth falls open, then closes. Open, close. Right. I can do that. Shit. Fuck. What have I done? I feel Ilias's grip on my shoulders loosen as he swings his leg over to stop straddling me. Reluctantly, he sets me free and I instinctively sit up, scooting my knees into my chest.
We're expecting some good entertainment this evening now, you know. Though I'll warn you in case you haven't already guessed, we're a pretty tough crowd.
Are you though? Because I've already distracted you this long. So, I would say otherwise. I gulp, but I can work with that. This is just a game, right? A very stupid, very deadly game, but I've been gifted a few more turns to make this work in my favor. And hey, I've played tons of games. I'll just have to use my charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to turn the tables. Judging by the looks on their faces, the longer I dilly-dally, the hungrier and more impatient they get. Like I already said, and like they already confirmed, the odds of me walking out of here alive are virtually non-existent. That's more than fair. I pause, letting the words hang in the air. Knowing I now have full attention of the vampires, I use my next turn to stand up and brush myself off, making sure my stance is as confident as I muster. They don't need to know I'm metaphorically shitting myself despite them probably being able to hear my heart screaming in my chest.
It's not every day we come across a human
Excuse me?
who lacks fear when staring death in the face.
So, enlighten us. Well, firstly, you're all really fucking hot. Valeria rolls her eyes so hard I think they might fall out of her skull.
Okay.
Stating the obvious, kitten. What I mean is vampires are brilliant, fascinating creatures that until tonight I thought weren't fact, but fiction. I study you, written about you. Why would I be afraid to die when it's literally my Freudian death wish dream fulfillment come to life? It's not as pretty as you seem to think.
There's a lot of blood. Like a ton. A whole body's worth.
Oh, it's especially messy when Illy is involved.
It doesn't count if you don't get blood everywhere. He points at Valeria, and the look she gives him makes me think she might bite his finger off.
Plus, you're not even half as delicate as you think you are. You get sloppy too.
She turns her nose up at him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Billy is right. Remember that couple in Trinidad?
Ugh.
I do not. She clearly does.
I remember walking in on the three of you. It was a complete bloodbath. I'll never forget your face.
Don't make me make you forget my face.
As I listen to them talk about their past indiscretions, the idea of joining them on a voracious, blood-fueled vacation sounds deliciously tempting. I muster up I muster up as much willpower as I can to keep my voice steady. I'm serious about what I said. I want you to turn me. I feel 3 sets of eyes narrowing in on my vital spots. Laurel looks me over like a hamster in a cage. Val, you are always commenting on your woefully ceaseless boredom. Maybe Nori can liven things up around here. They smile at me, and despite it reaching their pretty eyes, it still doesn't quite stick. I am exceptionally good at making life interesting if I do say so myself. I can teach you things like gaming, internet shopping, how not to act on
We
Twitter.
might be old, but we're not stuck in the Victorian times.
Oh, maybe you can fix my computer? It's doing that thing that it always does.
We can talk about your spectacular ability to infect every device we own with porn malware some other time, Elias.
But for now, our attention should be on why Nori wants to become one of us. What?
Ugh.
Hush. With a wave of her hand, I feel my words die on my tongue.
You think it's something we can easily do? Just turn you. Like how humans adopt a puppy.
Well, it's not that hard. Illy, that's not the
None of
point.
us chose this life. It's not all amazing sex and free meals.
Not. What Valeria means is that it isn't as glamorous as I assume you believe it to be. Valeria steps towards me, closing the distance between us. She takes my chin between her forefinger and thumb, making sure I have no choice but to look at her. Why should we bother letting you continue to waste our precious time, Nori?
Entertaining you and your little idea was fun for a second. But I get bored so very easily, and Illy's tummy is going to start growling soon.
She leans closer again, her lips brushing my ear. You won't like him when he's hungry.
Hey, I'm always hungry.
I want to mess with people. I want to be young and beautiful forever. I want to protect people and be strong. I want to mess with people. I've seen hints of intriguing powers here tonight. Things far beyond what I assume to be the norm from any old vampire. The way Valeria has seemingly silenced me without so much as a look. The way I was compelled to walk in here in the first place. I want to fuck with people. I want to cause utter pandemonium amongst the masses to get inside their heads and, you know, it's hard to notice with how practiced they clearly are at maintaining their poise, but I swear I see Laurel's lips twitch.
That's all very creative. But what, pray tell, would this utter pandemonium entail?
I'd get laid ASAP, I'd save the world, I'd kill my enemies, I'd start a cult. I'd get laid. I can only imagine how high the libido of a vampire would be. I'm ready to test that theory. I'll take it for multiple test drives. Honestly, spit it out. I'd get laid like immediately. Take the new immortal body for a
That's
spin or
nice,
10.
in theory.
You
But
need
you'd need to learn to walk before you fuck.
Valeria backs down, seemingly content with my answers. There's a brief break in conversation as she and the others appear to mull over my response. I wait for anything to happen. The silence somehow makes me more uncomfortable than the vampires themselves. I try to think of something to say to fill the void. So, and I hear, is that a meow? Wait, you have a cat?
Nasty Dennis, he's not just a cat.
I look around for this nasty Dennis and see nothing. The quiet, somehow intimidating meowing continues. Can I see him? It isn't quite that simple, I'm afraid. He's more being than feline.
If you do see him, it's probably a bad omen for you, human.
Is he like one of those cats who sit with elderly people in nursing homes before they die? Valeria snorts, derisively.
Nah, I'll probably just shred your jugular.
So that's where the nasty comes from? Got it. Someone is enamored, I don't blame you. He's a fine specimen.
Right.
Despite being a complete bastard, yeah. Wouldn't say that I'm enamored, just
Isn't
curious.
curiosity what killed the cat?
Valeria then gestures towards the gallery wall behind her with the dramatic flourish, presenting a portrait with dainty hands. Nasty Dennis is a shaggy white Persian with a permanent resting murder face, and he's wearing a dashing tiny red bow. I don't let cats pet the portrait, he's adorable. I'm gonna say he's adorable. That's a cute ass cat, I love him. He looks so soft, I want to kiss his fluffy, angry little eyebrows.
You really do have a death wish.
Clearly.
Just because you've lasted this long doesn't mean he won't kill you, you know.
Trying to distract us by using Nasty Dennis as a pawn.
That's not what I was doing.
I'm on to you, human.
Come on.
I'm getting really hungry. And my patience is running out. I'm this close to snapping and eating you right here, right now. Pause. Right, the whole thing. Shit, I'm not sure how much longer I can hold them off like this. I've partaken in a risky game of breaking and then entering, trespassing in the most heinous. I interrupted their game night, and now I'm stuck in a game of my own making. One of life and death. I can't just stand by and hope they'll start to want to keep me around without putting the work in, especially with such an incredible opportunity being dangled right before my eyes. Like all good relationships, it's not all about me. I need to know more about them. I need to know what the fuck I'm getting myself into if this all pans out the way I want it to. You've interrogated me, now maybe you should let me ask you some questions.
A question for a question seems fair.
Sure. Laurel, winks at me and extends her fingers, my eyes drifting to those sharp, shiny talons.
But be careful. Any wrong answers in your innards will make a nice table dressing.
So I'm just saving right here because I might fuck up. Valeria seems to perk up at the prospect of getting to talk about herself.
Okay.
What exactly do you want to know? There are a lot of things I can think of to ask them off the top of my head, like do bats make good company, for example? But then maybe I should use my chances wisely and ask something productive. What do you miss about being human?
Nothing. I'm perfect.
Well, that's a lie. I stare at him for a beat and he seems pretty serious. I expected something a little more profound, not gonna lie. Laurel smiles softly, almost wistfully.
Music festivals.
Music festivals, Laurel? Do you really have no regrets, Ilias? What about you, Valeria? Valeria? Her mouth forms a little O, her eyes wide, and she looks almost taken aback for a moment before she regains her steely composure and glares daggers
I
at
lived in
me.
a castle once. A big, fancy one with pretty women who would dress me every morning and brush my hair.
She scrunches her nose up and looks around the living room.
Ugh.
Clearly, I'm downgraded. Yeah, I'd say. Hey, this is a nice
Is
house.
it a castle? With pretty women who dress me and brush my hair every morning?
Sorry about the dogs barking, guys. I mean, it could be. But no. No, it is not.
Then there's my answer. I want a fucking castle. And to be surrounded by beautiful women.
Okay. Noted. Now it's our turn. L'Oreal's eyes are sharp and full of mischief.
Who do you stand in LBS?
Who's LBS? When I decided to do a round-robin game of truth and truth with a trio of hungry-ass, sassy vampires, I can't say I anticipated this one. I don't know what that word is. I don't know what the fuck. They all have their strengths, and there's something I love about each of them. Find me one person on this planet who can resist Jumin, for example. Is this about BTS? Valeria and Ilias groan loudly while L'Oreal looks impressed. Incredibly impressed. This bodes well for me.
Fuck.
For fuck's sake, not another one. Shit, sorry, I really love K-pop. I tend to ramble, yeah. L'Oreal nods approvingly. Is that satisfactory, L'Oreal? They nod. I'm not entirely sure if I made a good impression or not. Before I can ask my next question, Ilias practically bulldozes L'Oreal out the way. Okay, Nori.
1. How does a 3-day hunt in the woods sound to you? 2. How do you like your blood to taste? 3. Where is your favorite place to bite someone? 4. What are your opinions on swords?
Well, someone's eager. Of course I like swords. I fancy nibbling on a good collarbone. Blood tastes metallically hunting for cryptids. Right. I'm gonna say I'm the collarbone. While I'm sure there's no wrong place to bite someone, I think a nice nibble on the collarbone sounds quite delectable. There's something sexy about the sharp curve of them, the way they so delicately frame the top of the chest. And the bite there would, of course, be a sensual one. It's not like you just whip out your collarbone for anyone, right? Imagine if you do it just right, it's pretty hot. They all look pretty shocked. Clearly, they underestimated me and my ability to wax poetic about body parts.
Oh, I do appreciate the way you talk about bones.
I feel my cheeks starting to heat, and by the way, Ilias is looking at me, his chest heaving. I think I might have excited him. Yuck. Okay, now,
Are you quite finished hogging the human illy?
Ilias pouts and Valeria pats him on the chest, and then she's staring me down, a deadly look in her eyes. My turn.
Tell me, if given the chance, how would you try to impress a fine specimen of a vampire like myself?
She pokes at one of her fangs with her tongue. It feels like a threat. A sexy one. Think fast. I'd give you a killer foot rub. I'd take you anywhere in the world. I'll write a story about you. I'll take you anywhere in the world. She likes lavishness, right? I want to take you anywhere, everywhere. We'll travel the world. Her eyes light up at the prospect, and she doesn't even try to hide her apparent eagerness. I hold myself back from launching into a poorly timed rendition of a whole new world, but only just... I haven't traveled in so long. We used to go wherever we pleased, do whatever we wanted, eat whoever we could sink our teeth into. She sighs wistfully.
I miss killing people in different countries. Americans have come to taste so bland. My palate isn't as refined as it used to be.
I can fix that. I know where all the tasty humans hang out. Valeria smirks and I feel my heart do a little lurch in my chest out of fear, arousal, either is possible. All of these questions, all of these incessant prodding. This is either the weirdest job interview I've had or the best speed dating session I've ever been to. I can't tell if I like it or love it. Before they pump me more of information, there's something I'm desperate to ask about. Power, abilities. I know they have them, and I want to know it all. If I'm potentially going to be a vampire by the end of the night, excuse me, I should be well informed about what my new body will be capable of. I want to know about all the cool vampire shit you can do.
Interesting priorities. Though it's a fair question.
It is. I suppose the ability to see threads of truth you mortals can't.
The added benefit of near miraculous strength has its perks, but being a walking polygraph makes living in the shadows of humanity that much more entertaining.
Huh?
It's hard to choose one thing.
He runs his hand through his hair like a male model in a perfume ad as he contemplates his response.
I'm basically good at everything. But if I've got to pick just one, sharpened senses. I can hear a mouse's heartbeat at the other end of the house. I could smell you before you even set foot in here.
Well, being young and beautiful forever certainly has its perks, but if I simply had to choose one thing, I'd say that I quite enjoy thralling people. How there's something inherently satisfying about bending people's will before ripping their throat out. You know, there's an art to it.
Well, those were all mildly terrifying. It all sounds incredibly cool and fun. The three of them look very pleased with themselves. It's getting late or early, and I feel the anxiety pings in my chest as they stare at me with the thinly veiled impatience or judgment. I can't quite tell. My quick, firing brain is telling me that they're talking about me telepathically or something. The silence is deadly. I've pleaded my case for long enough, and I really can't stand to wait around anymore. It's time. So, did I pass the test? Loyal taps their long fingernails against their chin in contemplation. I have one last question for you, Nori.
Call me curious, but if you had to choose one of us to be your sire, who would you pick?
Clearly, there's only one correct choice.
Yeah, no pressure. This has to be a trap. There's no way this isn't. If I choose one, will the others pounce on me? If I don't choose, will I die regardless? Even if it is a scheme to get their fangs in my throat, I have no choice but to answer. Alright, L'Oreal. Valeria, Ilias, L'Oreal. None of you. I'm gonna put L'Oreal. It has to be a L'Oreal. They've enchanted me with their mysterious ways and their almost mischievous demeanor. I think we would have a lot of fun together. L'Oreal, I choose you.
Pika Pika, I guess.
He chuckles under his breath as he smirks in my direction.
Well, is that your final answer?
Yes, it is. My cheeks flush and I avert my gaze from L'Oreal, who stares at me quite intently, apparently satisfied they're the chosen one. L'Oreal smiles regarding me with a distinct aura of pity. My interest in you stops here, little mortal. I thank you for your flattery, however, it will make for an amusing anecdote in the future. Ouch.
You've made it past step 1. Congratulations.
Okay. You almost sound impressed.
Oh.
No. This was the easy part. What comes next might not be such a walk in the park.
But you're past the point of no return. Are you truly ready?
I am. Valeria reaches out her hand. Good. Now come. Not what I thought I wanted, but as I press my palms against hers, I do my best to contain my excitement about being chosen. I can't help but think about what the hell is going to happen next. Okay, before we continue, I'm going to cut it off right there so we can make part 3 its own. So I'll be back, guys. Thanks for